All right, guys, we are going to get started this evening. Welcome. We're super excited to have you. I'm going to go ahead and screen share. Hopefully, we are good to go. Little crazy start, but let's get our presentation on the way. All right, we are going to start off with Tasha. So, Tasha, I'll let you get us started.
Well, first, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's on tonight. Boy, it's been an exciting night already. Um, you never know what midlife is going to bring, right? That's kind of the whole theme of tonight. Like, we get all these things we don't expect, right? Why is this happening to me? Why does my body feel different? Why is this not working anymore? What I've been doing used to work. Why is it not happening? Well, just by way of review, we want you to know that nothing is broken. Your body is changing, right? And it is adapting to changes that are happening. Just to review what we talked about a couple weeks ago, during your midlife phase, you do begin to see declines in your hormone levels. And these are significant, especially for women, and they are often producing a decrease in muscle mass. Now, again, just to remind you, muscle is metabolically active. It requires calories to maintain it. So as we lose muscle, we also see a decline in our metabolism. And the one thing that most people complain about and that we go back to is like, why am I all of a sudden getting this belly? Why am I gaining weight around the middle? Why are my clothes fitting different? Well, you can see that muscle and fat show up different on our bodies. Shaleen, if you want to advance, yeah, there you go. Here's a little comparison of what the space that 1 pound of muscle takes up versus the space that a pound of fat takes up. So you may be seeing the scale change and you may be saying, why is this happening? And you might not be seeing the scale change, but you might still be feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm getting this belly. And we just want you to see 5 pounds of fat does not look the same as 5 pounds of muscle. The scale can't tell the whole story. And so tonight we're going to fill in some of the script and we are going to talk very specifically about muscle because muscle is your active tissue. It is the calorie burner. It is the lever that moves us. It is what looks nice and gives you great shape. So we really want to shift your mindset tonight that our goal isn't just about weight loss, but our goal should be about muscle building. So that's what we're going to focus on for tonight. So, Ashley, I'm going to turn it over to you to shift our focus.
Fantastic. If you were on the last one, I shared briefly that I had a dietitian that really taught me about completely shifting my focus to revolve around what I needed to do for my body instead of all the things I needed not to do for my body and all the foods that I shouldn't put in my mouth and all the things to avoid. So, changing that mindset that you can focus on things that aren't scale numbers because those truly are not important, just like the depiction of the difference in, 5 pounds of fat versus 5 pounds of muscle. There's a huge difference. Focusing on short-term diets, they don't work. They're very short-term temporary fixes. There's no point in doing them because all of that yo-yoing for our bodies is so bad for it. That's why we constantly go into this, even not just physical, but mental mindset of like fearing not being able to eat or, that deprivation. So we have to stop that. The guilt from food. Oh my gosh. I'm sure many of you have been there before. I never feel guilty about anything I eat anymore. As a matter of fact, today I finally got to try the Chili's honey chipotle mozzarella sticks that I've been dying to try since they came out like a year ago. They're all over my Facebook feed, my TikTok feed, they're everywhere. Finally got to try them. They were amazing, but because I feed my body with all the things that it needs, I couldn't even finish one. And I was done. And it was so good and worth every piece of it, but one and done. Um, and then we need to start building lean muscle and good habits, habits that we start today that we can continue on forevermore. An empowering mindset, because there are so many choices that we have that are our choices, and just making sure that we focus on what we can do. And last but not least, lifelong wellness. And it goes along with the fact, exactly like I said, about really focusing on what you're going to do, the changes you're going to make that can stick and you can do long term. Shaleen, you could switch to the next one if you're able.
Just pause 1 second. We have a couple people in the waiting
You're
room.
good. I'm just going to keep going because I have notes anyways.
Okay, keep going.
Sure.
Ah,
You good? Did you
welcome.
get them
Welcome to the poop show.
in?
No, you can keep going.
Okay. So the next slide, whenever it pops up, is about muscle burning fat. And so my best advice for you is, when you're focusing on, am I going to do cardio? Am I going to build muscle? Making sure that you get those couple days of muscle building in every week is so important, because the more muscle you build, that muscle is going to go to work for you while you're doing absolutely nothing. So when you're sitting on the couch eating popcorn at the end of the day, the muscle that you built 3 days ago is absolutely going to burn fat for you. How do we build muscle? We build muscle not just in the gym, but by what we eat. And we need protein. I see the slide. Perfect timing. We need protein for muscle repair. So we think about recovery, and recovery to us, to the general consensus, you think about recovery from the gym. If I worked on arms today, I'm going to take arms off tomorrow. If I worked on abs today, I'm not going to do abs for the next few days. That type of recovery. But recovery is so much more than what you do in the gym. Recovery is sleep. How much sleep are you getting? How much downtime are you getting? Downtime considering like reading if you like to read, or baths if you like baths. And then don't laugh, get your head out of the gutter, but pleasure time. That can mean a lot of different things to you guys. And it does, depending on the day and the time for most of us. But pleasure's fun. What makes you laugh? What brings you joy? What is going to help keep those cortisol levels exactly where you need them to be? The sleep, the recovery, the downtime, the pleasurable things, the laughs, the lightheartedness, keeping that blood pressure down too. Um, so reasonable lifelong goals. Cardio. If you're not somebody that works out, you hear the word cardio and it's like, no, I don't want to do it. I'm like that too. The cardio that I do is literally walking on the treadmill, and I do it to get warmed up so that my muscles are warm when I go to lift and I do strength training. So, especially at midlife, got to make sure those muscles are nice and warmed up, or you're going to be real sorry the next day. At our age, strength training, we have to do it. It can be hitting the gym, or it can be using your own body weight. It doesn't have to be, you know, benching 100 pounds and 8 reps and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't have to be that. It can literally be using your body weight. It could be some things that Shalene's going to get into with you. And movement. Movement, again, doesn't have to be hours logged at the gym. That can be parking your car in the, third parking lot at Target. Or just getting in those extra steps. Today, my son and daughter were at football practice tonight, and I went ahead and walked the track because why not? It was nice out, it was beautiful, it was perfect temperature, and got in some steps. So just considering moving your body as much as possible. And there's a saying that I'm sure most of you have heard of: a body at rest stays at rest. And it is totally true. If you can't motivate yourself to get up and get on the treadmill, or get up and ride your Peloton, or go for a walk, get up and get something done. Get up and organize some cabinets in your house. Get up and run the vacuum. All those things are movement that we do that we take for granted, but the truth is just do them more often and get the body moving. Um, and last but not least, getting started. It's always the hardest part. The hardest part is to get started. The easier part is just to maintain what you're doing, especially if you only start with very, very, very small sustainable goals. And what I started with years ago was making sure that I strength train at least twice a week. It was ironic that Shaleen's presentation said exactly that. Now there's days or weeks I get into the gym 4 or 5 times. Not usually. It's usually twice a week. But those weeks that I get in extra, I'm just super excited that I got an extra. The weeks that I get in my 2 days, I'm like, okay, good job, Ashley. You did your 2 days. So set small, reasonable goals that you can do forevermore. That's my best advice. So, all right, Shaleen, it's all you, babe.
All right, we want to make sure this was more efficient this time. I'm going to be showing you guys some strength activities that, because the first thing everybody said was, okay, Shalene, you work out all the time. How are you going to explain this to people just getting started? Thing is, I started where you guys started. I started with simple things. And through the years of working out, the one thing that I found to be the most important is functional fitness. And what do I mean by functional fitness? Is functional fitness is incorporating strength building activities that actually translate to things that you do in your life. As we get older, muscle becomes so much more important because it decreases so much as we age. So, to get started now and to get going on a weight program isn't so much about losing weight, like we said, it's really gaining that strength for our body to be able to do the things that we love to do. I know some of you guys aren't in this realm yet, but like pick up my grandkids in 10 years if I have grandkids. Be able to move my laundry around. Those are functional things that I want to be able to do for myself as long as possible. So, what I'm going to do today to help you guys is I set up some functional exercises and I'm going to go off screen share because I'm going to show you how to do these at home with things you have at home. I've also uploaded, I'll come back to this screen. I've also uploaded this little tracker, and within the tracker, it's going to go over, we're going to go over squats, rows, push up, a hinge, and a plank. Those would be the exercises we're going to go over right now for functional fitness just to get started. Like Ashley said, the general like starting out is weight training or strength training twice a week. So if you can take these exercises, these simple exercises, push pull, kind of functional exercises, and do them twice a week. And I'll kind of walk you through how to get stronger or add more weight to things, you are going to find that you're going to see the difference. You're going to feel the difference once you get going. And then as far as cardio goes, down here on the bottom, it is recommended to have 150 to 300 minutes of cardio a week. Okay, so if you take that 150 minutes and you break it into 30-minute sessions, let's say, that's 5 30-minute sessions in a week. Okay, so you could totally split that up. Maybe you have 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes at night to get that 30 minutes in. You add in those walking like Ashley did during her kids' practices, and maybe she did something in the morning. So cardio is just moving your body, getting that heart rate pumping for at least 20 to 30 minutes. 5 times a week we'll hit that 150 minutes a week that they recommend minimally. And then again, strength training twice a week. So we have uploaded this in a PDF and and a photo on our midlife management. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to move D over. We're going to do the best we can. See, this is why functional fitness is important. You got to move your dog out of the way. We are going to work on a few activities that are on your sheet and ways that you can do these at home. So to start off with, the first thing on your sheet, if you were to look at your sheet, I'm going to give you some tips on this, is the squat. Now, when I am teaching somebody how to squat, I typically will start out with having them, especially if they feel like they're a little off balance or just want to get the movement right. I will start off with just a chair. You want a chair without wheels because you don't want it going everywhere. You're gonna sit in your chair first towards the edge of the chair, okay? Not back, up towards the edge. Your legs are gonna be about shoulder width apart, and you can angle those toes out just a little bit. And the easiest thing to do when you're starting to learn a squat is just sit to stand. The function of just sitting to stand, for some people, doing 10 to 15 of these will be enough. Now you could add weight, or you could put your hands up by your head here, do it that way. The other transition from like a chair squat would be, instead of sitting, you're going to come down, you're going to graze the chair, then you're going to come back up. Come down, you're not going to sit, but you're going to graze the chair and come up. And I'll help you a little bit more on your form here with the hinge, but really you're just focused on squat down, back up. Do 10 to 15 of those, and then I'll show you with household items how you would add weight to that. Now, if you feel good, you can move that away and you can do it without. If you would like to, you could find a wall. And this is one Tasha, she said she did a lot, is you can do a wall hold just like this. And you're going to get those quads a burning. You can brush your teeth while you're doing it. Something that's easy just to do anytime is just do a little wall sit like this. But using your body weight and just doing your squats or doing a chair squat is an easy way to get your body moving and the ability to get up and down. Super, super easy. So the squat was the first one. Second one on there is the hinge. Now, why did I put the hinge on there? Because the hinge is super important. A lot of people will think of like deadlifts, but the hinge is important because a lot of what we do, we bend over, and we want to be able to bend over and pick up a grandkid, something from the floor, and becoming strong and maintaining that ability is important. Now, I have a broom here. Hopefully you have something with like a pole. This is the easiest way to learn a hinge the right way. And with this, what you're going to do, and I might have to take off my coat. See, I run around in workout clothes all the time, so this is pretty normal for me. So with this, you're going to take the broom or the pole and you're going to put it behind your back. You're going to have it hit your head, your upper back, and then down here by your butt, by your sacrum, right here. Okay, those are your 3 points of contact. When you do a hinge, what you're gonna do is your feet are gonna be about shoulder width apart. Keep your head and everything in contact, and you're gonna come forward. And you're gonna come forward until you feel a pull in your hamstrings, okay? Now, if you do this and the pull goes up like this, then you know you've lost that core. You want to keep your core nice and tight. And you want to keep that back straight, head up, shoulders back. And you're going to come forward and you're going to hinge at your hip. You're not hinging at your knees like a squat. You're hinging at your hip. And you're just going to do this with your body weight. You're going to feel the stretch. You're going to feel the core engagement. The other thing that you can do if you're having a hard time with that, and it's harder for me to show you sideways, but you can stand by a wall, head up, shoulders back, tummy tight, and push your glutes to touch the wall. Okay, so you're working on a hinge. A hinge. So notice my knees don't bend, they're slightly bent, but it's booty back towards the wall and back up. So you're working on a hinge. Now, once you get good at that, you're going to be able to add weight to it. And that's where some of the activities that I'm going to show you. Here's a laundry basket. Okay. Hinge, row. Stand up. Hinge, row. Okay. So functionally, if this had a lot of weight in it, I could add more weight to it by putting things in there. I could hold on to another thing would be a backpack would be another thing that you could add weight to. Easiest thing, I only had Clorox bleach. Dude, usually people will have liquid detergent, but if you can get a liquid detergent bottle or something like that that has weight to it, and you put the hinge into place, you can do your rows with the detergent. Okay, so you got your squat, you have your hinge, and then you have your hinge and your row. Okay, so it's a lot of right there pull. Okay, so those would be easier ways to add weight. So detergents, bleach, anything with a handle. You could add sand to this. Simple, easy things. Cans. Cans is about a pound. Okay, you could do bicep curls, things like that. We're doing just basic of just functional exercises right now. You could go bigger and do bigger cans. Okay, for weight. Chairs, laundry baskets, simple weights like 3-pound weights aren't expensive either. But again, you can use the stuff that you have at home. And if you look around, things like your sofa, things like a little footstool ottoman will be great to use too as lower places to squat to step up. The other two exercises I have on your sheet, and you can do, easiest way to do this will be on the wall. So if you have your hands on the wall, step back. You can do push-ups on the wall. If the push-ups on the wall are too easy, then you come to a table, again, tight tummy, and then you're going to do your push-ups here. You could even do those, keep going lower or higher depending on what you need as far as more help. I mean, a lot of people often say they always call them girl push-ups on their knees. You don't have to do that. You can do them on a wall to start out with, and then go to a lower counter, and then to a lower table before you ever get to the ground. And you're still going to be building muscle and strengthening your body. So that's a super big thing to remember. The other thing that goes with push-ups that I put on your sheet are planks. And planks and push-ups kind of go hand in hand because when you are in a push-up position like this, you are also can be in a plank position. Okay, now it's as you get to the ground, it's harder than it is up here, but it's easier for you guys to see me that I got my tummy pulled in and I have my straight arm plank here. On the ground, you could even do it on your elbows. You just want to keep a nice flat back and tight tummy. Okay, so pull that belly button towards the spine and then hold that. And same thing, with the wall hold or a plank, you just want to start out with a small 15 seconds, 20 seconds, and build your way up. When you go to repetitions on exercises, start 10 to 15. If that feels easy, you can add another set or you can add weight. And again, that's as simple as holding on to a detergent, holding on to something with a little bit of weight. It doesn't have to be a lot. Some of the last things that I had for you guys as things at home that you can use. You always use your body weight. You can use things like chairs and stools, laundry baskets, like I showed you, your stairs, walking up and down the stairs. One of the things that I do at the gym, but you can do at home, is what's called a farmer's carry. And really, it's like carrying groceries into your house. When you want to make more than you don't want to make more than one trip, so you have like 10 bags here and 10 bags here, and you're walking in. Same concept, but you would take weight in each hand, bring your shoulders back, tight tummy, and farmer's carry is pretty much staying stable and walking around with those items for a while. I mean, do a loop around your house, go up and down your stairs. You'll work on strength, you'll work on core strength, you'll feel in your shoulders. But doing something like that is a great way to get some steps in and work on strengthening for functional activities such as carrying your groceries in the house. um, cans, soup cans, mops, brooms, paper plates. If you have carpet and you want to do some slide outs or back with paper plates, that is a great way to do that with stuff you have at home. Towels, sheets are other things that we can talk about if people have more questions, because that's one of the things is all of this can be done at home, but we want you to see it as something very functional and something that you can get started. There's not the excuse that, oh, I can't go to the gym or I can't do this. We all have the opportunity to do it, and these are some simple things that you can start with right now, the stuff that you have at home to just get started on working on that strength. It doesn't mean just going to the gym. So that was one of the biggest things that we talked about as a group is finding some functional activities that we could challenge you to get started on this week. And we would love, before we meet for our next series on cortisol, is really allowing you to get started on some of these, for you to ask questions. I can be available to jump on a Zoom or to jump on our midlife metabolism and do a breakdown video on how to do something. I just need to know what you need help with. And this was our easiest way to start you off with some simple activities. So, Ashley, Tasha, anything I missed as far as
You give all the right way to do the exercises. I could give all the cheats. Man, I know how to win a plank competition, right? I throw down against my 20 and 30-year-old adult children, and I win every time. Actually, I have one son that doesn't let me win. He holds out, but I could show you all the cheats about how to do it. And you already kind of showed some of them. My wrists are too weak to hold a plank as long as my core will allow. So I go down on my elbows and then I go up on my hands and then I go down on my elbows, right? I'm still engaging my core. It works.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we really just want to give you guys a chance to grab this tracker, get started on some easy movements. We'd love to, again, challenge you to print this off. Go on our Midlife Metabolism Facebook page and tell us, what you've accomplished to do, what has been easy, what you've struggled with, because we really just want to encourage people to get started on that. And then our next one is in 2 weeks, and that one is on cortisol, cardio, and fuel timing, which are just more aspects of the big picture, just broken down a little bit smaller.
Hey, Shalene, before you leave this segment, Shay asked a question in the chat. She said, with the hinge, should you be rotating your arms at all? One up, one down, then switch? Does that affect the placement of the core muscles for the
Um,
idea of balancing the workout?
so Shay, are you considering like if you're holding on to the bar? Yeah, you'll want to switch it because I had surgery on this hand, so flexibility wise, sometimes I do need to work on that a little bit, switching them back and forth. So maybe do a set one way and then switch and do your set the other way. That would be a great thing to do. I actually use something similar to this to work on range of motion. Again, something that we lose as we get older is range of motion and balance. So again, why I start you on a chair squat instead of just saying squat in the air. You have to get used to that motion and the balance that goes along with it. Range of motion, some of you guys may struggle with that a little bit, just getting in that position. Yeah. Melissa said I did that after I'm still doing it, Melissa, and I'm 6 months out. Every morning I'm raising my bar. So yeah, any other questions? Yeah, this is perfect timing, you guys. We just wanted to make sure you got your questions answered. So
I
it's
just want to
free.
say, I would totally love to see people's papers in a couple weeks, or you guys posting them in the midlife group, and they say something like, I parked 5 spots farther away than there was an opportunity. Like there was an empty spot, I passed it up, and I parked 5 spots further. I just feel like those kind of things are so underrated. Like the more we can just move, when you're thinking about, oh, I'll get up and grab a drink the next time I get up when I'm watching TV. Just get up and go grab the drink. Even if you come and sit back down and then get up 20 minutes later and make your popcorn and then you sit back down and you get up 10 minutes later and go pee. Like all that movement, it's silly. It's not a workout at the gym, but it helps. It helps build the muscle and it helps burn the calories and it's good for you. So I would love to see papers that literally say, I walked for 5 minutes in a circle while I stood at the bus stop with my kid. Like anything that you do that you weren't doing yesterday, those are steps towards a healthier future. So that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And there's lots of other things that we can help you guys with as far as easy things to do at home, with the chair, with just simple things at home. My mind goes crazy, but I know I said too much already and I'll just give you more ideas. And I'm like, oh, I could show them how to do dips on their chair and hamstrings on their couch. So there's lots of things that you can do at home.
This isn't the end, Shalene. We'll bring you back.
Good, because I like to do that stuff. I love to teach exercise and strength. Yeah, thank you guys for putting up with the crazy start to our Zoom. I will get this downloaded and uploaded and we'll get it sent out to you. And we will try to make sure the next one is not as crazy. Melissa, I broke my foot in January after having. Good, good. So Melissa's just been starting her squats back up, and that's a big thing, injury does slow you down a little bit, and then just getting back into it is so important, starting small and just adding things in as you can, and just listening to your body when it says, may not be a good day for that. So no, I think that's great. All right, guys. Well, that's all we have for tonight. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you on our next one in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. All right. Talk to you guys later.